All right, there we go. What is up, YouTube? Welcome back. We're back on the job site today. I'm going to a customer's house. I've had this customer for a long time, actually pretty much since I started. I've done a lot of work for them, and they call me for just about everything that I can do. They have me do it. So what I'm doing is they got aluminum wrapped windows, and then they got these square wooden panels around them, and I've already replaced a couple of them, but the panels are starting to rot. So I'm gonna pull the panel off, which basically is just plywood, and put a new panel on, and then there's a trim detail, like an inner square with like a piece of trim that's got a detail around it. So it's not just flat across. So I'm gonna rebuild that too, and then I'm gonna paint that, and then freshen up their porch and their garage trim around their garage door. And I don't like saying this because you just never know, but it shouldn't be too bad and difficult because I've already done it. So I know the best way to get the panel off, and then cut and build the new panel and then install it. So it should be all right, shouldn't be a big deal, but let's get to the job site. All right, get my van all opened up, and then I'll show you what is going on at this house. Paint the inside of that trim, these 3 posts, and then I painted this. I painted that about 4 years ago, and you can see it started to peel off already. So that's been 4 years, and I used a if I remember correctly, I used Peel Bond Primer from Sherwin-Williams, and I used a Resilience paint. So I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not too happy with that. And I'm gonna replace that panel. Nothing too crazy. I'm gonna get up there on my ladder and find out what's going on with that paint and see why it failed. If it was the primer underneath or the paint, but that doesn't make me happy. 4 years, you should get a little bit more than 4 years out of it, I would think. But that does get beat up by the sun too. I'll show you guys just how rotted this is. It's my knife. There you go. I'll show you this too. So this is how I'm taking this panel out. Never gonna get this thing out in one piece, so what I did is just cut once across, once here. We'll pull it out in 4 smaller sections. It'll be easier. Okay, got the panel all taken out, and as you can see, as I cut off the panel, I cut this, obviously, right? It's almost gonna be impossible to avoid cutting paper. So what I'll do is I'll go back with some Tyvek tape, tape all this up so it's nice and sealed up, and then we'll be good to go. Never ceases to amaze me, but you know, that rot didn't happen, you know, in 2 or 3 years. He said he had the windows replaced like 4 years ago, and I can never figure out for the life of me why window companies and stuff, when they see that rotten wood, they don't replace it while they already got the windows out. I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense, you know. And I'm not a fan of wrapping the windows in aluminum. I think it looks tacky, and they always miss spots when they're caulking and gets bent and messed up, and I don't care for it. But and this is the part a lot of people don't see. You know, I came here in the morning, tore everything off, got everything prepped and ready to go. But now, the part that a lot of customers just don't realize is now I got to go to the store for minimum an hour, hour and a half to get the materials and come back and do it. The 1-day jobs, you know, I can do it all in a day, but the 2-day, 3-day jobs, which I try really not to go any longer than 2 days. I usually go there, figure out what I need, get it, drop it off, and then have it ready to go the next morning. But these 1-day jobs, I go there in the morning, do what I need to do, like tear all that off, get everything prepped, get the stuff, put it back on, and then paint it off. Okay, I got my piece of panel all cut out. I got my marks made where my trim is gonna go. And if you're wondering how, or I guess the easiest way I did it to make sure these panels matched, was I just matched it up and measured the corners of these and the corners of that one. They're both exactly the same. Come right over here, make my marks on my piece, and then we'll cut them. Okay, now you might be asking yourself, all right, you got your marks, now what? So here's what we're gonna do. So I made a 45 already on one side, and I still have my full length piece. So what I did was set the corner down right on where these 2 corners are gonna meet, okay? Then you come over to this side. Hopefully you can see on the camera, but then what I did was this next corner, I made a mark right here going up on the long side, okay? When you're doing a miter, there's always a long side and a short side. Since I can't see that mark and I didn't make it long enough, I'm gonna make it on the long side. Walk over and we'll cut it, but this part of the blade has to fall on the long side at a 45. What I'm gonna do is start a little bit longer, so I'll cut once and then I'll move it over a little bit and then cut again right over my line. It's always better to be a little bit longer when you're doing a miter, and then move it over and cut exactly on the line. You don't want to try to get out right on the line the first time, because most likely you'll miss. Now what I'll do is I'll move it over that way just a little bit to get right on the line. Okay, there we go. Perfect there. And perfect there. So I got my first piece cut, and I just repeat it for the next 3. One last thing to keep in mind too, when you're making your line, you got to make sure that your 45 is going the right direction. So if you're not sure, and you don't want to forget, make that little mark on which way the blade should be going. All right, there we go. All finished up. Let's get it installed now. All right, so we got it all installed. Looks really, really good. And now what we'll do is we'll get everything primered first, caulked in, and then we'll paint. Okay, we are all done. Looks really, really, really good, I think. Compared to the aluminum, I think it looks good. You might have noticed earlier in the video, you could see my nail holes up there. So I went back and I filled them and then painted over them because I just wasn't happy. That didn't look good. But it looks better now. I don't know why, if I was not on my game that day or what when I did that, but I didn't like the way it looks. So I filled it, sanded it, and then painted it, but that looks good. So we did those two. I painted that bottom one, fresh coat on there. Painted the posts. And then I put a fresh coat up there just to buy him some time. But that needs to be replaced too. So, you know, we're just doing a little by little as, you know, the customer can afford it. But next will be this panel and that one on the bottom. At some point, the one on the bottom is actually good for whatever reason. So I think we're still gonna need to do this one, and that one, but we gotta get these bushes cut way back before I do that. So, but anyways, look good. Done, finished cleaning up. Customer's happy with it. We'll get out of here. All right, so that job wasn't too bad, nothing crazy. I got paintbrushes to clean. I try to clean them right away, but you know, with cold water, they just don't clean up as well. So I get them the best I can, and then I bring them home and clean them the rest of the way. But it went good. Customer was happy. I'll be back there to do the rest of the panels, but I got a couple other things too that I'm doing there. So wasn't too bad. So don't forget, guys, give me those thumbs up, share these videos, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment in the comment section below, and we'll see you on the next one.